Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Lilou here. I'm on the Juicy Tour in Quebec. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm right in the middle of Montreal, between Montreal and Quebec City, and it's absolutely gorgeous in the middle of nature. And we have here around us, I'm sitting with Kishori, that I've interviewed many times. That is an amazing, amazing woman. I'm so excited to share her knowledge with you today. I think the information you bring to the world is essential.
Thank you. Hi, Lilou. It's nice to be with you physically too.
Physically, because we did some Skype interviews, and now to be in each other's presence is really a true gift. And we just did a beautiful session with her horse Moon that is right here. You'll see him coming in and out. You probably see his little nose right now. But it's been so amazing. It's so amazing. I'm so grateful for the knowledge that you bring about the 0.0, the convergence, the essence, the presence. Now, that's your latest book in French. I don't know if it's in English yet.
Not yet. It's
but let's talk about the presence. Let's talk about that. What is it?
To me, it's about self-love. In order to be in the present moment or in self-love, I have to learn how to remain present to me in the moment as is. If in this moment I'm feeling anxious and I thought I start thinking, I should be in the present moment because I'm thinking about the future. Hey, in this present moment I'm worrying about the future. How can I be my best friend? How can I hold myself tight while I'm worrying? By giving myself that unconditional presence. I start relaxing within loving arms, my own, and allowing my true self to breathe. You know, and in presence, I came from my work from DNA. And
DNA reprogramming. Tell us also about that.
In my first book, DNA and the Quantum Choice in DNA and Demystified, I wrote how some of our programs were stopping us from being in the present moment or in self-love, because if we don't have the program, let's say if you have a computer and you don't have the program to open a picture, somebody can send you a picture, you know it's there, but you can't access it. Well, since at first it was called junk DNA. Now it's called random DNA. Now it's also called non-coded DNA. A big portion of DNA is not programmed. And that portion is open to intent, to emotion, to the environment. And in there, with intent, we can set programs or direction. And in one of the program I installed in DNA was self-love. And the other one was how to access our own essence. And for me, essence is our individual self, the big cosmic whole, you know, like it's beyond God, the cosmic everything, we call it the cosmic whole, has individualized itself in different vibrational rates. And one of them is my essence, is inside this body, and in all my life, future, past, earth, non-earth, it's the same essence. And the life is a story in which the essence is amplified or not. Yes. So I may have a life that's just a life of a story, or I may have a life where in the story, essence become my focus. And in the work with the horses, I was very inspired by the book The Tao of Equus by Linda Kohanov, who wrote about the horses that were therapist horses that could help us access our authentic self. Because for a horse, because they're prey animals, if there's a wolf in the second field, in the herd of the horses, there are 25% of the horse are called hypersensitive, and they pick up hint here and there. And the herd will listen to the hypersensitive horse, and then the mares will organize the herd, and the alpha horse will set themselves at the back to be ready for the wolf that's coming. Those hypersensitive horses are the one we use for therapy. And we come in like you did today, in the presence of the horse, and then we start listening to what's going on inside of us. And be true, because if we pretend we're cool, but we're not, the horse knows, because he's trained in his genetic pattern to be able to know what's going on. Like once somebody came to do a session with Moon, and she was hitting really heavy-duty emotions, and she's a Tai Chi teacher and does a lot of work like this. So she stopped and started to do some Tai Chi, you know, and Moon looked at her like, what's she doing anyway? And I said to her, it's not impressing him. For her to be real with herself, that's very impressing to a horse. And the presence of Moon is a very noble animal, very intelligent, and he brings that forth in people. And the love is, he brings back, sometimes you get sort of messages, and he said to me, I cannot believe how the humans criticize themselves. You know, why are people so hard on themselves? And I've seen him in his presence, children, men, women, in the course of the therapy, they get more noble, more essential. You know, because essence gives us a noble authority. You know, it's not a big ego trip. It's noble, essential authority where I can say this is essential for me. I'm there. And this is not essential. And you need to have 0 point to help you with this.
And once we're in our, and we can talk back about the 0 point because it's very interesting, but it's really, this is a juicy life. Living in our essence. This is a juicy living tour. This is a juicy life. This is the juice. The essence is the juice.
And the nice thing, you can't do it without 0 point, because at 0 point you say, I choose to love myself even though I don't. Okay, you can make a positive mental choice with a negative emotion. It's emotion, energy in movement. So you take that emotion, make it behind a negative emotion, you set it behind a positive outcome. And with the essence, you can say, I choose that my life aligns itself on the vibration of my essence, even though I don't know how. Even though I don't know what my essence is, this is my direction. And what's so beautiful about a direction is, let's say you want to come from here to New York. Okay, you put your GPS on New York, and you may just take Highway 91 and, you know, just go straight on the highway, cross the border and go straight on the highway. Or you can decide to do all country roads, but you keep your GPS on New York. So you're going to get there. A direction is like this. You set, my direction is to have an essential life at 0 point in self-love.
So no intention is really needed then in this space?
Yeah. All you need is a direction that you choose. And you know what's really nice? It's every time you lose it, then the direction is there. You put back your GPS and it will send them back. And in connected riding, which is the kind of riding we do now with the horses about aligning ourselves, they have this saying in connected riding, once you have it, then you lose it, then you get it again. Then you lose it again. And one thing is certain, we'll lose it, but the direction will still be there and we'll get it again. So then every day is a chance to be essential, to love yourself at 0 point. And when you lose it, well, you put at 0 point, okay, this is my darkness today, but it coexists with the light, exactly like the yin-yang, you know. Together they create an energy, and then you go beyond duality. And that's in the field that Rumi talks about, you know, there's a field beyond good and bad, and in that field, it may not be perfectly quoted, but in that field, the soul rested. And the concept of you and I doesn't even exist. Because when I am truly essence, it's so natural to be living my essence. My body is built for it. I don't have to say to somebody, I am, because look, I am like this. I am the great cosmic whole individualized. And I said sometime I'm an agent of the cosmic whole. I am here in this body expressing its individuality.
Yes.
And you are. And it's so beautiful to coexist. Then we create this whole new way of being together. Instead of community, we become a matrix, a network. And it's like the different square on your shirt, they coexist next to each other. And I, in my essence, coexist with you in your essence. And we coexist with Moon. And we're not asking Moon to be a human. And I'm not asking you to be me, and I have a joy of seeing you express your essence, me expressing my essence in Moon. It's like I am the drop in the cosmic ocean who knows it's a drop. And the drop feeds the ocean and is fed by the ocean. And I have the awareness that I am the drop. Imagine I am in the ocean and I have the awareness of this. And sometimes we think, oh, life and the other dimensions are so incredible, you know? Yeah. It's the same essence that's having another kind of story in another dimension.
Very good point. Very good
It's the same essence. The other day I was taking my garbage out. Very dense earthly experience, right? and it was the early summer morning, and I had this white nightgown I really like, nice cotton, and I was walking in the morning and I thought, I am essence in this body, carrying my garbage to the trash can, and I am. It's outside of the story, the feeling, you know. And I was, to me, once I choose unity with myself, with that essence, and I let my life aligning itself, all kinds of interesting things happen. But sometimes if I have an uninteresting day happening, because life keeps on going, in that uninteresting day, I connect with myself instead of the boringness of the boredom of the day. You know what I mean? So sometimes when I come here to this table, it's so beautiful, and I say to Moon, I'm in a spaced out mode today. I am not focused, but I am. And then the horse choose and is relaxed because he knows I'm authentic. And our aim, us in this, with the connected riding and the T-touch and the holistic, you know, stables and everything, is that we connect with the horses as it is. And we start a session, let's say, and our aim is not to jump that day or even to go riding, is that our horse ends the session with us more connected than when it started. And at first, you know, at first you have really a lot of days where you're just not connected, and all of a sudden, because the horse knows you're keeping the direction of to be connected to yourself in presence of the horse, the connection is more and more chosen because it's the same direction, and it happens. You start, and then once you connect with forest, with human, with the birds, the sky, and finally with the universe, you know. But in the process of this, you're in your arms, hugging yourself as is. I can now be in panic and hold myself, instead of thinking that I shall love myself when panic is over. And, you know, in my book, I wrote this, that some of my...
Kishori wrote many books, but she's referring to your last book, right? Presence. It's not in English yet, but soon, huh?
Coming, yes. Like, we're putting the classes 2 of DNA in English, and now we're just asking volunteers to translate from French, because so that it can be more accessible, you know. But in this book, I wrote of 2 people who had come to my workshop, both women who had a breast cancer. And each one in the South Pacific and the other one in Canada, they did it the same way. They chose to be with their essence while they went through surgery and everything, to be at 0 point, no matter what kind of emotions they had. They would keep the emotions, feeding the spiral, instead of spacing out, and they would chose to be in self-love with themselves. They both were cured, but they both ended up with the same feeling. I'm so much there for myself. I love myself more than before the cancer. I am essence while I'm living this cancer. Okay? And to me, this is unity. This is the new earth.
Tell us about this new earth and the new matrix that you describe in the book. Well, that you have described actually on my shirt.
For me, we are ending a big game. And if you refer to the movie The Matrix, it's a big game. And the game was the game of separation. We were separated from nature, also from our own essence. And we try for hundreds and thousands of years to see what is it like to live when you're disconnected from essence. And it brought us to ego to build another kind of identity, trying to figure. And the conclusion of this is nothing is better than essence. To me, it's essence fills you up, and once you're full, you manifest abundance. People, they want abundance. Fill yourself with essence. Naturally, abundance will be there because essence is linked with the cosmic ocean. You are the drop. Anyway, I don't want to sound too excited about this, but it's becoming more and more obvious to me that it's the only direction. It's true that 21st of December 2012, there is a galactic alignment. To me, it's not a moment of, we leave the darkness into the light, or we leave the light into the darkness. It's a moment beyond duality. It's a moment of unity. And a new game starts of unity with our essence. But
which is happening now.
It's in the process. It's already, and a galactic alignment is not just one day. We're going there, but it's already, there is so much going on with the stars now and the planets and everything.
Comets.
It's gearing up for that. But in the process, we have to say, what is ending? Ending is the matrix, the old world, the matrix of separation. Some people will again choose to be separated, and that's okay too. But if you want unity, there's a window of opportunity available now for this. And I have to say, I feel it, because when I was younger and I would meditate 5 hours, nothing would happen. Now I'm in a conflict with somebody. I speak my truth. I'm authentic, and inside me, I said, no more separation. I am saying no to the old matrix and yes to the new matrix, and I'm choosing unity. Well, it comes so fast. Miracles of unity happen. I am touched to see them happen, and I feel like the cosmos is aligning for this. The yin and the yang to be in context, the light and the darkness, the animals and us, unity is present. So if you choose it, you've got this big yes coming from we're not isolated anymore in our decision. This is a new matrix starting and everything set up. So if you choose it, you're welcome. It's really, I feel it inside in meditation. I'm doing yoga, and in the yoga class, I'm not the most tiny person and the most flexible, because some in the yoga class, it's real acrobats who are there, and there you are. And the whole idea of yoga is presence, to bring presence to tension, to bring presence to the breath, and sometimes I'm there and I say, I choose to live this in unity while I am with the body, and a peace. I just love breathing like this with Moon. Sometimes he sits there and we breathe like this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be totally present to the way you are in that moment. And the universe now is in a galactic alignment for unity.
Like never before?
like never before. Anyway, like never in the matrix of separation. And what's really interesting, it's interesting because when a horse chooses, he confirms, you know, and Moon's very present in this interview, but in the midst of the matrix of separation, we can choose unity. We don't need even to separate from separation to choose unity. So I don't need to say, oh, I don't want to be in this world.
Nothing to do, really.
A choice.
A choice.
Somebody said to me the other day, oh, well, it just ends up, it's all about life, isn't it? I said, it's all about a direction in life. A choice. My direction is to be essence, to love my essence incarnated, and to be at 0 point with duality. Whoever wants to be in the light alone is not on the right planet. We have a planet with a positive south north pole, day and night. Everything's about duality and density here. The experience is not of light, it's of 0 point in duality, coexistence of the darkness and light within myself, in my own arms. And then I approach my horse like this. Today you're not in a good mood. I can, you know, some days, like for horses, if it's very cold, like in November, those cold rain are worse than snow. And they're not that happy. They're not happy. Then you come in and you say, my dear, see how you're feeling. I'm just going to be with you and we're going to connect with how you are. And then a moment of connection happens. And you leave happy, you know, and your horse is happy, and that message goes through the herd, and then your stable is happy, and you go back into your home, and your teenager comes home from school, and he doesn't have the right, or she doesn't have the right body. You know, teenagers, we're never good enough when we're teenager, and you can be with them, and they're not good enough, and say, it's okay to feel like this when you're a teenager. Instead of wanting them to be happy, you can just spend time with them when they're bored and say, it's okay to be bored. And in that boredom, you can connect with boredom or connect with yourself. And I, you know, in my new book, I have dedicated it to my son, Merlin, who at 13 years old got the whole knack of unity, because one day I was here in January and Moon had been ill, and I was just you know, sort of scanning his body, and I felt that in his head he was not connected to himself. And I came back, and it was a full moon, and I was with my son, who's a Taurus, you know, and was next to the fireplace after a warm bath. Taurus, you know, comfort. And he's sitting there, and I have my friend who's very, very psychic, so full moons are for her, you know, can be very, and we're the three of us there. And I said, it's funny, I was there with Moon, and he was not connected to himself in that part, it felt. And we started to test in kinesiology. Is there a part of us where we're not connected? The three of us, we have a yes. And then we find out where it was for me, where it was for my friend, and where it was for my son. And my son, it's when he went into high school. You know, joining high school is not an easy part of life, okay? And I said it was trying to fit. I muscle tested the time, the day, and then he went like this. I see exactly the moment. But his eyes, and then he said, it's because we plug ourselves on the situation. And we said, what do you mean? It's like, we probably, like for me, it was when I got married. And instead of, I unplugged myself, and I thought I'd plug myself on my husband. Do you know what I mean? I unplugged from my essence. And he said, no, it's not on the other person. It's on the situation. And we said, what do you mean? And he said, it's like a computer. You have your wires are hooked to another computer, and you have to unhook them and rehook them. And for me, this, I said to him, namaste. You brought us the connection to unity. So now, when I'm not feeling good, I think, am I in my essence? Am I anchoring my essence? Am I at zero? Am I plugged on the situation? Not the person who drives me crazy, the situation. And if I say yes, I imagine I'm replugging. And it shifts the whole thing.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. I dedicated the book to him, and he said, "Oh, Mom, I really had wanted to bring something up for your book." And I thought, these new children, they know. And now every time he has a hard time, he's living teenage years, I said, "Are you plugged in on the situation, on yourself?" And he goes like this, you know, it's really, it was so true. And so I hold myself in loving arms, and I plug myself back in front of the horse in the consciousness of connected riding and kind of approach we have here. We think it's 1,000,000 times more powerful to get on, to hook to self-love when the horse is not doing well than to try to fix the horse. Because the moment you go back to self-love, the horse is reminded to bring himself back to himself, and he gathers his energy back in.
So it really does start with us.
And we have a passive influence on the network around us by our relationship of self-love to us, and then we have a relationship with the sky, with everything. We become one without trying to.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, in a network now rather than a community. We can be in our own essence while still seeing around other people.
Because the community, you're in the whole concept of community that didn't succeed. We tried in the 60s, and we can see now in the 2011 it's not working. Communities, great community. Now we have Facebook as our community. We're not having potluck suppers on Facebook.
It's a start.
It's telling us of networking. It's telling us Facebook is a network. It's not a community. In a community, we had to have the same idea. We had to be the same, think the same way. Now in a network, we're ourselves, but we're connected. And we're not connected because we have the same idea. We're connected because we vibrate in resonance, you know?
Beautiful. Isn't that juicy?
Thank you, and thank you, Moon.
Thank you, Moon. Beautiful Moon. Thank you for this beautiful session. I had the most amazing session with this horse. Actually, nothing was happening. I'm like, Kishori, what's going on? Nothing is happening. Moon is not coming. But it was perfect.
Actually, we allow the nothingness to be, to remain present when nothing happens, and then love came to you. The Moon was very
Moon totally came, and I love him so much, and I'm so happy to be reconnected to the love of the horse, and thank you for this beautiful session.
I'm very happy that we can talk about this and be in each other's presence.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Quebec, yes. Okay, well, now we're off to Quebec City.
Yes, tomorrow to Quebec City. Have a nice trip.
Thank you. Bye, Moon. Mwah.